And good afternoon, good evening, good morning, good night, depending on what part of the world you're in. Um, you might tell from my voice that I sound a little bit sober and not as upbeat that I normally would sound on a day like this. The reason is more of the topic we're about to discuss, and I think it's a very, very sensitive topic, both for me as someone who has operated in the clinical environment, and I know family and friends who might be struggling in this area. Um, Today, my guest is Miss Jacqueline is Fonanta, based out of California. Thank you, Jacqueline, for being here with us today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity and thank you for saying about the tone of voice and the sensitive topic because it is a sensitive topic. So I appreciate this time and I cannot wait to have this conversation and bring some healing and hope to people.
Thank you. And believe it or not, that is exactly what this platform is all about. We give voice to the voiceless, hope to the hopeless, and believe in that process that the BNS, which stands for Broken Not Shattered, would give someone some kind of healing in the process. And we trust that this conversation we're about to have will benefit someone else one way or the other.
Yes.
Uh, in the United States, May is actually a month that has been set aside for mental health and behavioral health challenges. And we know that many are doing so much more in that space, especially in the area of actually addressing the stigma around it. However, this is June, but because in our world, every day is Mental Health Day, because we want to make sure that the next person knows that it's okay not to be okay. This is something I have a really deep passion for. I know how people who struggle with it in so many ways can be in denial or don't want to embrace it because of the stigma that's out there in the community or in society that once you say you have a challenge when it comes to mental health, people begin to look at you differently. For that reason, you and I and many others who are out there would add our voice to the conversation to hopefully change that mindset where people can feel comfortable to say, I have a challenge here and begin to seek help. Um, for you, June 7th, 2017 was a life changing day. It's a day that most parents don't want to actually ever think of, but your son, Eric, um, decided to take things differently. Uh, just take a few minutes and share the story with our audience so they can get a picture of um, what had happened, where things were, and where we're actually going to.
Yes, thank you. So June 7th, 2017. Thank you so much for acknowledging the date. And it's coming. It's Sunday will be 9 years. But that year, 2017, Eric finished his school in April, and he turned 20 on April 9, 2017. He turned 20 years old, and he was very excited going to school, doing an internship in Sacramento, which is 5, 6 hours from us, and he was doing that. And last time I saw him was Memorial Day weekend on that year, 2017. But we had a good relationship. Um, we were talk about everything, drugs, sex, relationships. He was very close to me. I thought, that we had a good relationship. And on June 7, 2017, I received a call that no parent should ever get. And they told me that my son Eric was dead and that he died by suicide. So I was working. It was around 4:30 when I got the call, and I remember just like my body, my soul leaving my body. And good thing I was with people around me, because in the moment you die with your son, you die with your loved one, and then to on top of that to know that it was suicide, it was out of nowhere. And I say this because I was really clueless about mental health. I was really clueless about the warning signs. We never spoke about it with my family, with my kids. Like you said, there's a stigma, a lot of stigma, and sometimes we don't think that we need to educate ourselves with that topic because we see the smiles, we see the behavior, we're like working, studying, but of course it broke me in pieces. Like I love the show, your show name, and but it also gave me a mission. So I went to all the grief stages that we have, but I hold on to anger a lot. I was very angry, and not at him, but I was angry at myself for not knowing, for not educating myself, for not asking the right questions.
Mm.
I got mad at God also for allowing it. You know, at that point, your faith gets really tested,
Mm.
and I decided to start a nonprofit to help others because just like I was so clueless about this topic, I decided to bring it to light. And this was back in 2017 when the world was still like it used to be before COVID. You know, it wasn't mental health wasn't a thing.
Mm.
It wasn't talked about, or people didn't really care about the topic. So it gave me the purpose to help others, to save lives by sharing my story and with Eric. And now that I know a little bit more, because I'm not a therapist or a psychologist or anything, I'm just a mother trying to make a difference.
That's right.
And I see the warning signs back then now. I see behaviors that he was doing and things that he was saying, but I never connected the dots because I wasn't aware of it and didn't know. So that's what I share to parents. Start the conversation, check in with one another because you never know. And that's my story.
Well, let's thanks for sharing that. Let's stay there for a second on the warning signs. Warning signs are different for everybody, but in your case, and basically because of the fact that you're now more into finding out more about the topic and this and the challenges, you're more knowledgeable than you were in 2017, which is about what? That's
9 years.
9 years. Yes, so exactly today, 9 years ago, right? And so, what were the warning signs, or what warning signs can you share with our audience? Let's take it from that.
Yes, so you're right. There's everybody's gonna show different warning signs, but what Eric showed to us that I didn't know, it was depression, it was anger, and he was agitated. You know, he was moody, but I confused it as he's young. You know, young people are moody and hormonal and all of
Teenage.
that.
Mhm.
You know, so I said, okay, well, he's young, and I used to be like that when I was young, but I didn't ask him the question, are you depressed? Why are you so angry? I just took it as a behavior. So a lot of the times we see the behavior, but we don't actually explore what is behind the behavior. You know, we just judge by the behavior and we don't ask questions. We don't kind of like explore more on what's going on. Another sign that I saw that he got kind of closer to religion. He started going to church. He started reading the Bible, and I was happy about that. But at the same time, now I know that that's a warning sign when someone is all of a sudden more interested in faith and going to church. They're kind of trying to help themselves in a way to hold on to that. And another one, no sleeping. He was playing Xbox a lot and not sleeping. Sometimes he will go without sleeping and then just getting ready to go to work or school. And I know this because he left that on the note. So I also share that with parents. Make sure you go and open the door when it's the middle of the night to make sure that your kids are sleeping, because if you don't sleep, of course, your brain will start
Yes.
giving you those negative thoughts. And
Yeah.
so those are the ones I saw with him, but like I said, I didn't know that it was depression. And other people might have other behaviors, kind of maybe eating or not eating, isolation, a lot of withdrawal, like from friends, families, giving possessions,
Right.
even physical symptoms sometimes, headaches, your stomach, because if you're not eating, if you're not hydrating, things like that. So those are some of the symptoms that we see that people have to be paying attention to.
Wow. Thanks a lot for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that there was a trigger? Was there a trigger? Because some people can be clinically depressed or situationally depressed. Most of us go through a battle of some level of depression. It's not how you recover from it that makes a difference. So would you say there was a trigger in his case, or in most cases that you've seen?
Yeah, you're right. There is, because, a lot of the times, a lot of challenges happen. So suicide is not something that someone is just going to get up and say, I'm going to do it. It's
Right.
something that is been building up, building up, building up. And then, like you mentioned, something happens, and it could be something so little, but for the person could be something so big that it's like, that's it. I cannot do this anymore. And then they get in the situation that they decide to end their lives. I don't know. He didn't write anything on the note about pointing me to why he did it. I wish I had that answer, but I am sure that he had a lot of struggles. He never got diagnosed with depression because we didn't know he was suffering. He did mention that when he was little, once I divorced from his dad, that was kind of traumatizing for him, that he needed to be the stronger brother for the sister, and trying to show me that he was okay, so he didn't worry me. So he was just being a good son and trying to keep his suffering in silence, although I always mention to them, I'm here for you, you can tell me everything. I wasn't really one of those parents that don't cry or suck it up. I was more sensitive and more open to them, but for whatever reason, he didn't reach out to me directly and ask me for help, but he just, made a decision.
Wow.
Yeah,
It's very sad to hear this.
it
Uh,
is.
I am very sad to hear this. I heard someone say many years ago that the irony about suicide is that most of the times people are responding or reacting to challenges that they have already overcome. You know, maybe something happened to you when you were younger and you dealt with it then, but you haven't processed it. And then you get to the place of hopelessness, believing that there's no way out, that you're stuck here. And all you need sometimes is just to extend a helping hand for someone to hold you and gradually walk you through that process. And like you said, it might be something small to someone, to you and I, but it's big to that person because it's all the things that we think that are in our minds. It's got nothing to do with reality of life. It's just how that person actually feels, and that's why we have to be very intentional to check on our loved ones and check on our children and check on people in our circle just to make sure everyone is okay. I'm so sorry for your loss. Sorry for your loss, just Jacqueline. The statistics out there show that 80% of suicide are carried out by men or male.
Mhm.
Um, do you know why in your own research, or do you know why men seem to just, is it because we don't open up and talk?
Yeah, society. It's been all of us, because I have heard people that have like 2-year-olds boys, and they're already telling the 2-year-old boy, "Don't cry, you're like a girl." You know, if they go to breakups, if they go to, they have to show that they're like more, how do you call it? They're more stronger. The men's supposed to have the answers. The men's supposed to be the head of household. You have to show that you're strong. That's society, the stigma. And like you shared earlier, you don't want to mention something, and then people are gonna see you different. Work is gonna see you different. Your
Yeah.
family is gonna see you different. So it's sad to know that it's because of that. Our silence is killing them. The statistics are right. 80% of suicides are men, and we need to change this. And June is Men's Mental Health Month also. So thank you for doing this in June with me.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I think the biggest problem for most of us as men is the inability to speak up. You know, we want to carry the burden of the world on our shoulders, even when we can't carry it anymore. And we can't share with other men. You know, sometimes we can't share it with the women in our lives because they won't understand. And we just take it in. And like you said, that 2-year-old crying, and you're telling him to suck it up. And so all his life, all he's heard is suck it up, suck it up. And so he keeps on sucking it up until either he explodes or he implodes, you know. And then somebody will wonder, oh, what just happened? Or why did he just respond like that? But they don't know that he's been dealing with a lot for quite a while. And I really urge people to, especially women in our lives, to pay more attention to the men in their lives. We're not God. Never, you know, we're not as super as you think we are. We're just human, made in a different gender. And I'm saying this to all the ladies who are listening or watching this program. Please, please, please. I'm not saying that mental health doesn't affect women too. It does. But men have a way of not being able to express ourselves. To my brothers who are watching, the men, please seek help. It's okay to seek help. It's okay not to be okay. There's nothing macho about it. Just seek help. All right.
Yes.
All right. Okay. So how can loved ones then begin to identify when someone is experiencing emotional mental health challenges?
Well, first, the behaviors, any behavior that is out of the normal, for that person. Like I mentioned, any mood swings, getting closer to religion. They isolate themselves, but also pay attention to the eyes. I see pictures of Eric now when he's smiling, but if you pay attention, if you take a moment and observe, a little bit, you see that their eyes, the light is not there. You can actually see and pay attention depression. When someone is very depressed, you will see it on the eyes. Wow. So that's something that I share with a lot of people. Like, take a moment and really observe and pay attention to the eyes, and then ask the question, about how are they really feeling? How are you? And how is your mental health? You can also say that. How is your mental health? People are even afraid of the word mental health, but I tell people we have brains. Mm-hmm. All of us have mental health. The difference is that there's mental health conditions and mental health illnesses. That's the difference. But we need to address that and start asking, check in, like you mentioned, check in with each other, and just have the conversation at home. If you haven't, start the conversation at home, because you never know. Everybody's suffering right now. All of us are struggling with a lot of things.
Yeah.
And, why not spread more compassion, kindness, show that you care, and ask the question. It's just simple. Mm-hmm.
Especially in today's world where there's challenges all over the place. There's wars, rumors of wars. The economy is tough, those in authority are making decisions that impact us generally. So there's a lot to be worried about, creating a lot of anxiety around. And so you're right. You're so right, Jacqueline. We're going to take a break at this point. It's a very short break. And then when we come back, we'll start winding down as we discuss about the foundation that you've now started in the name of your beloved son, Eric A. Garcia. And I'm back again with my guest today.
I was so drinking coffee.
I exactly. Yes, so we're back at the BNS podcast, which are looking to discuss mental health issues that folks have been facing. Jacqueline, you started a foundation in the name of your son. Share about what's going on there, please, for us.
Yes, thank you. So the nonprofit started as a scholarship. You are enough scholarship because I figure I don't have my son here physically. but I would love to bring this opportunity for kids to write essays about mental health and also get a scholarship opportunity. So we started our first scholarship in 2019. I established a nonprofit in 2018. And by doing the scholarships, I started getting people kind of interested about, wow, you're giving the scholarships, you just lost your son, and just little by little people were interested in that. So then I thought, okay, maybe I can do more with this, because people actually want to learn more about it. And because nobody was talking about this back then as much as now, I started, okay, I'm gonna do outreach communities. So I will get to events that they were happening in the community, put a table. I had no knowledge about mental health, but I just wanted to share my story and start the conversation. So I will get resources from different places, put my table, and be there in every event I could be, and every weekend, sometimes Saturdays and Sundays. And that's how I started with more community outreach, and then I started also getting myself educated with taking as many courses I could, or workshops to learn the warning signs, getting certifications. So now I can bring education to the community. So we do workshops. We teach the QPR, which is question, persuade, and refer. I'm certified instructor for that. I collaborate with the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. So I do presentations with them also. I have my own kind of workshops that I teach to the community. I teach self-awareness, emotional regulation. I also have grief support groups.
Right.
We do care packages because after I lost my son, I wanted something like that, for somebody to come and bring me something. And so I started to do that. So and all the services that we do for the community are free. We don't charge for anything. And we just opened our first suicide prevention center in September last year. So I'm so happy for that. And all of this is by donations. First, my savings, and then donations. I don't have a lot of experience on grant writing. English is my second language, so my English is not as, how can you say it? Intellectual, maybe. I don't know if that's the word. What they look for. So my English is more basic and simple. So I need help in those areas more, and the granting, the funding. But we run by donations. That's what we do.
Well done. Well done. Let me just applaud you again for what you've done so far. Language is sometimes could be a barrier, but in most cases, the heart, people can see your heart, and language doesn't become a barrier anymore, because suicide doesn't just speak to people who are English speaking. It can happen in any culture, in any environment. And so if there's anybody who's a grant writer and wants to support Jacqueline, please feel free to reach out to Jacqueline. And I think her nonprofit is called You Are Enough. And you can find her on Instagram and anywhere else. Where can they find you, Jacqueline? Just in case somebody's watching, says, hey, let me help you write a grant.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Well, the nonprofit, the website is youareenoughfoundation.org, or social media, like you say, Instagram, You Are Enough, Facebook, TikTok. We have a TikTok. I'm not too much active because that's for the young people, but I'm trying to get there. You can text me or message me. My number is 661-795-7065. And if you Google his name, or if you Google the nonprofit, it will come up, and you see my address also on the website.
Awesome. Well, there you go. So just in case you want to be of help to Jacqueline, please be of support to her, and see how we can make this foundation grow, so we can build more centers. So basically, you've turned your grief into a purpose, and so far, so good. But question I always ask people when they go through this kind of thing: did you seek help yourself?
You know what? That nonprofit has been helping me. So if I didn't have this, I don't know how I'll be, because after losing Eric, the first year, I was really a mess. I was taking sleeping pills, drinking almost every night. I was working, but I wasn't being a good soul. I was bitter, I was angry, and I wasn't connected to my faith. So God gave me this purpose. I asked for forgiveness. I pray, and I asked him, to please help me turn this around, because I wasn't being good. I wasn't being a good wife or a mother to my daughter. I was just so deep in my pain and anger. And God responded. So when I asked him to help me, guide me, then I started understanding what I needed to be done. And because of that, I have what I have. And you know what? Helping others really heals your soul. I
It
tell
should.
people, yeah, if I tell people that are lost and stuff, and I even tell parents, take your kids to volunteer. And they look at me like I'm saying something totally different, because
Yes.
if
Yes.
you don't grow up in the circle, you don't know. And I tell them, take them to volunteer and you'll see, because they need to learn and see what resources we have, or maybe they have a passion but they don't know it yet, because we're so limited on degrees, right? It's business,
Mm-hmm.
doctors, lawyers, but nobody talks about the public health and helping others.
Yeah.
And that's my help. That's what it's been helping me a lot. I have done therapy also. I have done grief support, but just helping others, being a light for others, listening to the stories, comfort them. They help me and I help them. And for me, that's been a huge win and a huge blessing.
Right. I can't agree with you any less, because I completely understand that. I know for certain that that is the way out. It's in you making those sacrifices to be there for others that you begin to find yourself back. The podcast we're watching right now, Broken Not Shattered, which is now the PNS podcast, started from a very dark place, very, very dark place. And I heard very clearly, just like I'm hearing from you, you're broken, but you're not shattered.
Mhm.
And that you're going to use your situation and your challenges to help others. So the platform is here, and we've been running with it for quite a while now. So I know that, yes, it can bring restoration in so many different ways to the soul as you help others. Thank you so much for sharing that. We're going to start winding down, Jacqueline. Um, have there been moments where you felt like, with the foundation, the challenges, you just said you used your savings and all that stuff? Have there been moments where you felt like, what, this is too much. I can't do this. I can use my time to do something else and just forget about it. And then all of a sudden, you remember why this mission matters to you.
Oh, absolutely. There's times, even right now, I'm going through it. Sometimes I'm there, and sometimes you feel alone. Uh, I've been in this journey not knowing what I was doing. Sometimes you have to take action, go from your heart, and then everything else you'll figure it out. It's
Yeah.
a lot of structure, a lot of changing plans. Oh, this didn't work. I'm gonna try this, and yeah, I do feel alone sometimes. I feel like, okay, is this even helping people? What am I doing? Am I joking myself?
Mhm.
I have all those questions, but I've been reading and I've been hearing other podcasts and YouTube, say radio stations.
Mhm. Yeah.
And it's normal when we feel like that, right? Because we're doing something and it takes a lot of us energy to try to,
You
you
feel
know,
drained. You feel drained and
yes,
exhausted.
a
Yeah.
lot of drain, exhaustion. So, and and besides that, you kind of self-sabotage a little bit yourself,
Yeah.
with those negative thoughts. But you know what? The point is that we keep going, like, okay, this didn't work. I'm gonna try this. Oh, I do feel alone, but then a volunteer will email me, and then I have help. So
Yeah.
in those moments when you do wanna give up, don't
Mm.
give up. Like, so I keep going, because then I remember my mission. I remember I have to be there for others. I have to help others. And if they see the center, because people sometimes walk into the center, I have parents crying to me that they don't know what to do with their kids or their husband or wife. And if I have that open, even if it's just myself, but if they open the door and then find someone there and they feel supported, then I have done my part for that day. So I take it day by day. It is overwhelming, it is lonely, but that's part of growing and learning. And my dream is that to have centers, more than one center, so people can just open the door and find the help. And it's going to be run by volunteers, because I don't want this nonprofit to be like a corporation. I want it more to be like a heart to heart, like people helping people. That's what I want.
Wow. Wow.
Yes.
That's beautiful. Do you have any support right now as we speak?
Yes, I do. I met the more wonderful people I never thought existed in this world before the nonprofit. A lot of caring given. My family is behind me with every single decision, idea that I bring to the table. They support it. My husband, he's very supportive. He's my rock. He always helps me, and he's there for me when I have those moments, that I tell him I feel like running away, or I don't think I can do this anymore. But then he's there for me. My daughter. So I'm very blessed to have a good support, because if I didn't have that, then I think I would have just already give up and walk out and move on to something else.
Wow. Well, I'm glad you have the support, and a good support system makes a difference. And a
Yeah.
journey like this, you're not alone. Let me just encourage you that keep on doing what you're doing. You're touching lives, and I hope that by the end of this podcast, your story will touch more lives. Um, Take a minute before you wrap up the show and look in the camera and speak to that mother, that father who just lost a child to suicide. Just speak from your heart and tell them something that they might have heard, but coming from you is different.
I feel your pain, and I know you're mad at the world. And please know that your son or daughter loves you so much. It wasn't nothing that you did that made them decide what they did. It was a sickness. It was depression. And I want you to know that you're not alone. And someday, not right now, but someday you will understand. And keep talking about your daughter and son, and keep honoring them every day. But also, please take care of yourself. Hold on to your faith. Hold on to your friends. And also volunteer when you're ready. Volunteer in honor of your loved ones, of your son or daughter, and seek help if you need it. Therapy helped me. Going to grief supports helped me. Do whatever you can to help yourself, and you're not alone. You're loved. We have resources. 988 is there if you need to talk to someone. It's in every language, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But make sure that you also reach out and allow your grief to take a day or two, because sometimes people tell you stay busy, or do this or do that. But I want to tell you, sit with your grief also, and take those days to cry. I also take those days to get up and dust yourself and wipe those tears and hold on to love, and that's going to help you keep going.
Wow. Thank you, Jacqueline. Appreciate that. Like Jacqueline just said, it's okay to sit in your grief for a while. Don't stay there for too long. You can go through grief, but don't let grief go through you. And just get up as much as you can. Open the windows, bring in some light, take walks if you can. Um, One moment at a time, and restoration takes place. And if you are anywhere in the US and you have any challenges whatsoever, or you know somebody who's going through any challenge, please dial 988. Again, 988. That's the hotline for help. Okay? Right. Same way we have 911, here is 988. All right. Jacqueline, thank you so much for taking out time to be our guest on this podcast. As we wrap up the show, there's something we call the drop off question. And the drop off question is what the last guest who didn't know who was coming in would have asked. And the question might not make sense to you, or it might, but just think about it and then respond. And then after that, you're going to ask the question to the next guest who's coming in, and you don't know who they are. They don't
Love
know.
it.
All right. So our last guest drop off question was, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want it?
I want it really bad. It's my dream to have more locations and to hold on to my purpose. So I want it really bad, and that's why my passion keeps me going on, and the drive, to see it happening and to bring it to the community. So I want it so bad that I keep going. I keep getting up and I keep going. I keep fighting, and I don't give up. If I hear a lot of no's, I don't give up, because I know I'm gonna see a yes, and I'm not alone in this journey. So that's how bad I want it.
That's good. I love that. It's your turn to ask the next person
Oh, shoot.
anything you want.
um, shoot. I will say, if you can go back in time, would you do the same things all over again?
If you can go back in time, would you do the same thing all over again?
Yes.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. That's tricky, right?
I hope you're going to be watching next week to see what they say.
Yes, please. I will. And I love the theme. I love your title, Broken No Shatter, is so beautiful, because resilience, we all have it. We just have to work a little bit more. But if you're facing a challenge, you will be okay. Just keep going, and you will be okay.
Thank you so much, Jacqueline. Thank you. So on behalf of all our guests who have watched in today, remember 988, it's okay not to be okay. And if you need help, please, please, please don't stay in this alone. Forget about the stigma. Just reach out and someone will be there. I have people that I know that I can tell they have those challenges, and I try to speak to them, and they will be fighting back, Jacqueline, like, oh, I'm fine. I don't need help. I don't need medication. Trust me, if you have a headache, you will look for a medication, whether it's ibuprofen, Tylenol, something that you would take just to make you feel better. In the same case, when it comes to mental health, there are things that you can do just to make you feel better. So please, please, please reach out and take the help that is there. The worst thing that can happen is if we look around tomorrow and you're not there because you didn't make the right decisions. So with that being said, in our famous 3 words, we're wrapping up the show. More love, more peace, and more grace. Thank you, Jacqueline. Days Fontana. That's it, right? Days Fontana?
Yeah.
That is Fontana. I like that.
Well, thank you so much. God bless. And thank you for the listeners. And I wish you a lot of success on your podcast. Thank you for taking time for me. Thank you. Bye.